Hey everybody, this is Jerk's Corner. I'm Kirk Sherrod, and we are, this is going to be a great show. We're all packed in the corner. You can see, just barely see me in here. And these lovely ladies that came, and it smells so good in here. Every one of them has some type of wonderful perfume on. And I'm going to have to ask them what it all is because they all smell really great. And you can see how great they look. And so we're going to go, now I'm going to try and remember this. We got Rachel, Cece, Lolly, and Reeve.
That's it.
Did I get it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes! And clapping.
That's right. I heard that.
Should we clap too?
Yes, you can clap. Everybody clap. Everybody clap.
You can say Zimbabwe, Norway, South Africa, Zimbabwe.
Okay. I had a hard enough time getting Rachel, Lolly, Cece, and Reeve.
That's it.
Now I got to remember where they're all from.
Mess
Wait,
that up again too.
can we start over? Okay, now the reason these ladies are here, this is the coolest charity that there is, and we've supported them for maybe 4 or 5 years now.
That's right. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we're so grateful, so excited.
And we love it, and so we're glad to have them on here, and we're just going to let everybody introduce themselves really quick, and then we want to get right into it. So go ahead. I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
My name's Rachel. I live in Zimbabwe, born and bred, parents born and bred. Reeve on the end is my sister. The charity began as something really small, just something that our family wanted to do to make a difference in the country where we live. And it just grew, and we can't really believe how big it's gone and how far we're able to reach. And my job specifically is that I'm the one on the ground. They travel a lot, and I'm based permanently in Zimbabwe. And so I go out into the bush. We try not to focus too much in the towns and cities, but in really rural, very remote areas where people don't really like to go. And I go out there, and I take food and clothing and medical help, medicines, doctors to do ophthalmic surgery, dentists to help with teeth. I organize those trips, and we try and bring some relief in areas where it's really hard to get help.
You don't wear that stuff. You don't wear your dress and stuff out in the. Do you look like that when you go?
You know, the truth is, I'm going to be honest, and you might not believe me, but you know, for someone visiting, they're doing it for a week or two. If I had to dress for the bush every day, I'd go mad. So yeah, I do. I wear my pearls and my lipstick, and I go to the bush.
This is my kind of gal right here. I mean, she wears a dress and pearls in the bush. What? I like these ladies already. Okay, thank you. And go ahead.
All right.
Wait, Rachel, Lolly.
Cece.
Cece. Dang it.
All right. Well, it's Cecilia, and I'm from Norway, and I do not wear a dress all day long.
Okay.
I only when I go to church.
Okay.
Well, I'm a professional golfer from Norway. You know, grown up spoiled rotten until I had an opportunity to come and help the guys in Zimbabwe, and it changed my life. It was really amazing to see how we can help people with real needs. I thought my needs were great. So, however, I've come to understand that there's so many things that we can do to help in the world, and I love it. I love to go to Zimbabwe. One of my jobs is I actually help pack the containers from here in Salt Lake, and as we ship them to Zimbabwe, we help unpack. So,
She's trying to tell you that she does a serious workout every year.
That's the part.
This is great. Okay, so you're a professional golfer.
Yes. And Reeve is my coach.
Really?
And mine.
On the Ladies European Golf Tour.
Yes.
Brian, we have now golf coaches close by.
That's right.
Hey, all right.
And what I can say is Cecilia over here, she's played on the Ladies European Tour for the past 16 years, and Loretia, who looks a little bit injured with a sore shoulder, was not due to a golf injury, purely falling in a hotel in China. But she's been on the Ladies European Tour 28 years, and had 11 hole-in-ones, which for golfers, it's a pretty impressive number. Yeah.
Just gotta hit him straight.
No, what's amazing about that? My dad used to say, you know, it's better to be lucky than good. And this lady is both. That is amazing. 11 holes. I've never heard of that.
Us neither. Never heard a pro even come close to that.
Now, did you hear about the guy just recently that got back-to-back hole-in-ones?
Oh.
Yeah, it never happened before on the PGA that I know of.
Yeah.
And he got back-to-back hole-in-ones. one hole after the next.
That's awesome.
Okay, now Lolly has a quick story to tell you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, it's gonna come close to this, if not beat this one.
Okay,
I was
Lolly.
playing with Gary Player's wife, Vivian, and I was only 15. And there we were playing in this tournament, and on that day she had 2 hole-in-ones and 2 twos on par 3. So she just nailed it, and nobody ever has done something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She hangs out with Gary Player's wife.
Nice lady, by the way.
That is really awesome. What's her
They
name?
give you a plaque when you get a hole-in-one. They give you something you get real nice you can put up on your wall.
Yeah, to get something.
What
If you
do you
get a
win for
hole-in-one,
all
you get something.
Sometimes you can win a car, sometimes a computer, sometimes just a good pat in the back.
But I
So-
can tell you, she has a lot of. I mean, people can say you can't call a hole in one. I can tell you, a friend of mine, Noel and I, we knocked the ball right next to the flag like that, and we were already going about, we won the hole. She stands up there. She says, "There's one more thing better to do than that, in the hole."
Wha-
So she called it before she hit it.
I'm
It's
never
possible.
I'm never going golfing with her. Ever.
No, you should take her and have her on your team.
Right. Actually, I want all of you on my team. Do you play
now
golf?
you're
I
getting
do.
smart.
They all play golf.
So who are you going for in the U.S. Open? Did your guy win?
Well, yeah. Well, Keimer is a nice
Keimer
guy.
is a nice
I have
guy.
to say one thing about Keimer is that his girlfriend was trying out to play on the Ladies European Tour, and he went to caddy for her. So any guy who can pick up his girlfriend's bag, carry it around, and support her in her dreams, I got to say the guy's a good guy.
Oh yeah.
It's a humility, I say.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's a keeper. Okay.
So,
All right.
Lolly, you going to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm
Well, no, you're done. You got 11
Yes,
holes in one.
I-
Let's
Oh,
move
okay,
on. I'm kidding. Go ahead if you want to.
Also, my role is they call me the medicine woman. So when we do have the cataract operations out in the bush, I get to pack those boxes that they use all the supplies when it gets to the actual clinic. And then they unpack it, and they do about 150 cataract operations for free. So we've been able to do about 5,000 free operations every year. And so through golf, we get to raise some money to do that.
Oh, that's really great.
Yeah.
Now, I'm so curious. Are there more cataracts in Zimbabwe than anywhere else? Is that
Africa.
something that's
more in Africa, and the reason being is like if the mother had what do you call it, German measles
Yeah.
before pregnancy, oftentimes the child is born with bilateral cataracts, meaning cataracts in both eyes.
both eyes?
So the youngest patient we operate on is 6 months old.
Oh my.
Yeah, the oldest I've ever seen who had never seen, she was 15 years old and she had never seen. And it's just a 5-minute surgery. That's the tough part. You just think 5 minutes, patch on the eye, 24 hours later, patch off, and they can see. And that's just an amazing, it doesn't matter how many times I see it, I get so emotional
And
as
it's
I
not
watch
that
it.
expensive
No.
either. It's really cheap surgery. I mean, if people gave up a nice lunch, they could give someone back their sight.
Well, I got it. Okay. I'm a little choked up. Okay, because if they can't
Yeah.
see, and then 24 hours later they can see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little choked up about that. Sorry, guys.
But what
that is really
What
amazing.
I can say that's really amazing is that even if it's an older person, if there's an older person, they usually go live out in the bush like in
Yeah.
a mud hut, but there's always a child that has to go with them to lead the way. So when you give this older person their sight, this child gets to go to school and have a life again.
Oh yeah.
So you're giving them freedom as well. So whether it's a young child or whether it's an older person, giving sight, it doesn't matter how many times I see it, I always get emotional just thinking, wow, we're really making miracles happen in these people's lives.
Oh yeah, that's fabulous. Rachel, will you do me a favor? Will you hand me that red phone that's back there? I heard the bat phone go off, and it's so far away. There it is. All right, we're here at Jerk's Corner, and we're talking about cataract surgeries in 24 hours. Miracles happening. What can I do for you?
Cheryl Deuce wants to know, so I looked at the website, do they have doctors that, I would assume she means travel to, that come and perform the surgery?
Yes.
Where do the doctors come from?
That's a great question.
I have to answer it on this phone.
Sorry. That's a great question. What I can tell you is that we have had a number of foreign doctors, but we also have local surgeons that are terrific at what they do, and they volunteer their time. Our greatest challenge is to get the medical equipment and supplies that they require. It costs around about $20 US for 34 items that are required in cataract surgery. So for $20, there someone gets to see. And the reason I know it is because I buy the stuff. So it's fun. It's fun just to see what a difference that is made in such a short space of time. And as Lolly suggested, in about 4 days, you got 150 people I can now see. So, and that's just a couple surgeons operating, volunteering their time. So if there's any foreign surgeons out there that want to come and help, hey, we'd be happy to hear them.
Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you. Wow, that's just amazing. And thanks, Cheryl, for that. That's really a good question. Reef.
All right, you can see I'm the one who has nothing to say.
Yeah, she's the quiet one.
Okay, we have to move on. Now, Reef doesn't have anything to say. So, oh, did you want? Okay, go ahead.
My name is Reeve Neild. As Rachel suggested, I'm her older sister. There's 6 of us girls, but my parents have lived in Zimbabwe their entire lives. There have been a few moments that you might have thought it would be easier to live elsewhere in the world, but I really believe that I begged in heaven to live in a country where we could help so much. These people are the most gracious, humble, grateful people I've ever met. In order to say thank you in Zimbabwe, you clap your hands. Is that the phone again? So this is tatenda, and that's to say thank you.
Do you kind of cup them like this?
Yeah.
As a man, you go like this.
Okay.
As a man, you go like that.
A man like that, and a woman,
like that.
And do you make a noise with it, or just
a little?
Okay, a little bit.
And then you say tatenda.
Tatenda.
There you go. He's got
Ryan,
track.
did you get? I didn't hear you say it. Ryan's muted.
He's muted.
Okay.
Tatenda.
Tatenda,
All right,
like this.
you got it.
And this is yours, Rhonda. You got to go like this.
Okay, I'm good. There we go.
So when we started the project Eyes for Zimbabwe, that was back in 1996. It was with cataracts, but the need has become apparent to us that there are a lot of people that are hungry. We have 1.6 million orphans in Zimbabwe, and I can just say that you would never imagine that they're orphans. They don't act like that. If you looked at their outward appearance, you would understand that they are, but they're just the cutest, happiest, cheerful kids, and it's such a joy. As Rachel suggested, she's the one on the ground in Zimbabwe. We feed around about 4,500 children every day with a nutritional porridge that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints makes and donates to us. It's called ATMIT, and that really boosts their systems. I can say that for kids that are infected with HIV or that are malnourished, in a very short space of time, they are just strengthened, and then they can go back to regular food, and they're just great. And oftentimes that's the only meal of the day. So not only are we doing cataract surgeries, we're feeding, we're clothing, we're donating libraries to different areas and different schools. But the real goal is just to lift wherever. In order to teach children, there's no free education or free healthcare. So in order to teach children how to read, one of the best things to do is to give the Ambuya, the grandmother in the village, a pair of reading glasses so she can read again because she reads English, and then give her a Bible and she can teach the kids in the village how to read. Oh. So just giving kids literacy is a joy. As I suggested, library books are great, but what I can say actually, and Missionary Depot, do you guys talk about Missionary Depot next door?
Oh, sure, yes, absolutely.
Okay, you're going to get 10 out of 10 for me on Missionary Depot. Thank you, Tatenda. Yeah. I can say for the last number of years, Missionary Depot have been supporting our project because we realize that there's a lot of youth in Zimbabwe that would dearly like to serve a mission. But due to financial constraints, many of whom are orphans are unable to do so. So we've been able to do their medical checks and their dental checks, and lots of people have volunteered. But what Missionary Depot have done when we fill our containers that Cece so happily packs for us each year, is they have been able to supply us with a lot of missionary clothing that has gone out to those kids and made it possible, because many of them will go on a mission and then they just have like 1 or 2 white shirts and they really frayed, and maybe a pair of pants and a broken pair of shoes. And Missionary Depot, they've just jumped in amazing ways. I have to tell you, everyone I meet, I tell them about Missionary Depot. They've been so kind and so generous in their helping our Zimbabwean, and not only have we helped Zimbabwe, we've helped Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana, loads of youth out there with clothing that they can take out on their mission. So we have to say thank you. Tatenda, tatenda, tatenda. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. We're so happy to do it. I mean, it's just wonderful. We're so excited. And thank you for coming on the show so we could talk about it a little bit and talk about what you do. It's so great. I need to ask a question. You're kind of on the ground. Rachel's on the ground with the people there. Are there ways that we could go over and help? I mean, we always talk about that, like, okay, well, we gave some stuff, but how can we go and help? I mean, is that something we could do? And
absolutely. I have groups come all the time, but I have to be really clear from the outset. It's not for wimps. You got to be tough to come out there in the bush.
Well, I'm out then because I am a wimp. Everybody knows that.
Wouldn't want to chaff your soft and supple skin, Kurt. So
I have soft and supple skin. How do you know this?
just by looking at it, you know.
So we love volunteers, and that's the truth of it. You know, I think it's mutually beneficial. It's really great for those who want to give to be able to come and see where the things are going and the reality on the ground and understand the program better. And it's really good for the people that we work with to see that you would bother to come and that they're important enough for you to make the trip and want to come and meet them. So yeah, absolutely.
I want to do that. I was kidding about the wimp thing. I think, well, I don't know. What are we talking about?
All right, well, it's not that bad, really.
It is. Don't listen to her. She lives like where women fear to tread. She is. Yeah.
The roads are dirt where we travel, so you got to be good in a car, and you got to be willing to sleep in a sleeping bag and on the floor. But
do you have bicycles over there?
Yeah, you know
we would love bicycles.
I'm all over this. Ryan, are you in? Ryan, are you in? Ryan's muted. Okay.
I have to wake Ryan up.
I'm in. Sorry, I muted myself because my phone was ringing and I didn't want to.
Oh yeah, we want to come and do that.
Yeah.
Can we set that up with you and we'll work it out? Maybe 6 months. I don't know what the best time for us to come, but
absolutely we could do that. It would be great.
We give from here, but we want to come over and give from here. So I just on air. I want to just out there. We're going to come over and do that. We want to figure out a way to make that happen.
We would love to have you, and I can promise you, I know I sound biased, but the Zimbabwean people are like no others you'll ever meet. They are just good and gracious, and you're going to have a fantastic time. And of course, there's no reason why we can't have some fun while you're doing some good. There's a lot of beautiful things to see out there in the bush. Okay. So yes.
I like mountain bike trails, Kurt.
Well, I just, you ladies, I mean, these ladies are happy. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see every time I've ever talked to them or met them, they're so happy. And so, because of what you're doing, I can tell that this is a good thing, and I want to do some of that.
One thing that I can add is that in October, last week of September, come October, we're going to pack some containers, and those containers get to be shipped out to Zimbabwe, and that's where we've put missionary depots, missionary clothing, donated missionary clothing, and what we can say is if anyone wants to help or put a bike or two into that container for someone out there, Rachel make sure it gets into the hands of someone really important that needs it. So anyone wants to come out and help us pack those containers in October, we'd be excited to have you help, especially Cece. She said she'd love some help.
I'm not British. I am Norwegian. And Norwegians are build them strong in Norway.
Yeah.
But I need a little bit more height, though.
Yeah.
I need some people to come and help me.
That are taller? Because that is not me.
No, I was going to say
I'm so short.
I'm the short one. You
right. Right. Yeah, and Lolly and I get along because she's about the same height I am.
You know what? Right now I'll commit 5 bikes.
Sure.
Cece's going to answer this call.
Hello.
Hey, this is from Chris Davies. He wants to go with you, and he's letting you know that he's in.
That is fantastic.
And he'll organize it, he says.
That is fantastic.
Chris Davies is coming over here to Utah from London, and he's coming over here. He's not from London. We just say that from England, but anyway, he's coming over here to do a project with us here.
Great.
And he's a very good guy, and I bet he would fit in quite well.
Great, love to have him.
You're in,
excited
Chris.
to have him.
We're counting on
Welcome.
you.
We're so excited.
Okay, he's in. Chris is in. All right, that's 3. Do you think we could get like 20 people? Would that help?
Well, I need enough definitely to push the truck out of the 4x4 sand when I'm stuck. And I'm not pushing because I'm in a dress and pearls, so we need enough to push.
Okay, that's perfect. We need 20. If they're my size, we need 20. If they're like Ryan and they're buff like that, then you need
Yeah. Like 2. You need new 2.
Two guys.
I was going to say, it sounds like we do a lot, and some people might wonder, well, how can you be so diverse? But that's kind of the beauty of what we have going on. We started as something small, and we worked really closely with the government. For those of you who know, there's always politics everywhere, and we stay out of them completely. we're apolitical, and that has given us access on all levels. And so that's one of the most important. And we've had to evolve as the needs in Zimbabwe have changed. Yes, we started primarily with medical assistance, but every year in Zimbabwe, things are a little different. We had the AIDS pandemic, and we had to step in there. Then we had a food crisis, and we had to step in there. And right now we're helping schools get back on their feet and feeding these kids and helping them stay in school. All the while the cataract surgeries continue, but we have been able to evolve and expand and cover the basic humanitarian needs that are there. And I think that makes us really unique, and it makes it a really unforgettable experience that you're going to have, because you're not stuck just doing one thing. We're helping where the need is, and we have the flexibility to do that.
That is wonderful. Man,
Sure.
yeah.
So I will. So does that? Did they say that? Did you say that box that you shipped to Zimbabwe goes out in October?
Yeah, it does. Like last October, we had 9 40-foot containers that went. And this year we're planning on 10. It cost probably about $12,000 to ship a single one of those. So what we put in there, we just need to make sure we pack it tight. We don't use a forklift, as CC suggested. Everything is done by hand. But whatever people would like to contribute or donate to be able to make somebody's life over there happier or easier, would be grateful.
I'll commit 5 bikes. I'll commit 5 bikes for that. For October.
You're a hero.
I'll match that.
All right. That's it.
I'll match that. You know what? I'll match that, and I'll double that, because I've got bikes we can donate. We've got some.
That's awesome.
Let me put it into perspective for you, and you'll get to see this when you come. We'll be driving out on a road in the middle of nowhere. Really, we've been driving maybe for an hour and a half, 2 hours on dirt roads. You see nobody. You see some wild animals now and again, and a few huts interspersed. And suddenly you will see a man on a bike peddling his family's food for the month on this. You won't believe the difference it will make.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't get there any other way. And walking, through wild animal territory is a lot less safe. So thank you. That's a massive, massive difference. Thank you.
Huge difference. Tatenda.
Nice. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Man, I'll tell you what, this is exciting. I didn't realize that there was so much opportunity there for people to help with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we give our few things that we give every year, but maybe there's some ways we could even do some more. Maybe we could chat about it afterwards, and we'll figure out some ways we can help in other ways.
Well, the amazing part, if I can say, is that when we go out there, Reeve always says, "Well, don't bring anything in the car you're not prepared to give away, because somebody else is gonna need it."
Right.
So we come home without shoes and sweatshirts and hats and no food, nothing. But when you see the need of the people there, you just want to help them.
Yes.
So.
And one great compliment to these people is that if Ryan Kurt were giving to us, maybe he just gave to Lolly here, the 3 of us would say thank you so much for helping her. They wouldn't be saying, what about me? And that's amazing, because their gratitude is for this lady receiving something that she needed. And if they happen to get something, of course, they're very grateful, but they're really not a one society. And the nicest part about Zimbabwe is it's safe, it's beautiful, the people are grateful, the children are humble. A soccer ball, that is so fun. When you see kids on the side of the road, and you'll stop, and they got this plastic bag just filled with weeds or maybe other plastic bags, that's the soccer ball. So when you stop and give them a real live soccer ball, they've never seen one before. The first time they kick it, when you kick a plastic bag, you have to kick it hard to get it to go far. The first time they kick a real soccer ball, I can tell you it goes miles, because with all their might. And a soccer ball brings the whole village together, because then they all get to play together, a whole game of soccer together.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Yeah, there's just such simple things. There's a place here in West Jordan, Tiny Tim's, and they make us these toy cars, little wooden toy cars, and all kinds of people volunteer and paint them. And each year they give us, this year they're going to give us 20,000 of those toy wooden cars.
Wow.
And these are for children who've never owned a toy. I mean, they've played with sticks and stones. And when you give them this little wooden toy, have one, and they just simple, kind means brings absolute joy. And as Rachel said, a bike, that's going to enable
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
You're going to blow their mind.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just walk out your car and hand them a pencil, they'll be so excited. And I'm not exaggerating. Really so excited just for a pencil. If you gave one of us a pencil, we'd be like, yeah, oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
they'll be so
A lot of
excited.
people are like, what is
So,
that?
yeah.
I never used one of these before.
So when you, yeah.
I think that's the great thing, is that you experience the gratitude from the people.
Mm.
You know, they are so humble, they are so grateful, and yet they are so happy. There's not a one that doesn't have a smile on their face.
And for extreme sport lovers, if there are any out there that want to go, we got some of the best water rafting in the world. It's crazy. Some of the rapids aren't even graded properly. You decide whether you're going to carry it around or not. And we got great bungee jumping and a lot of, like I said, you know, I don't think it's all meant to be hard. There's some great fun that can be had when you're out there helping others. So, yes, bring it on.
If there's anybody else that wants to go with us, we are now planning a trip to go to Zimbabwe. Ryan's in. Chris Davies is in. Rhonda, are you going with us?
No.
I was.
You didn't even mention Scotland yet. What are you complaining about?
No, Rhonda, I figured as much, but that's okay.
That's an awful lot of airplane for me. So,
Rhonda will.
but
Don't worry.
We'll
I
knock
do
you
have.
out, Rhonda.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Said Ron on the boat.
The end result.
Yeah, I'll take the boat. Let's say I don't want to get on an airplane and go over the ocean. Can you donate at eyesforzimbabwe.org? Can you do that?
You know, that was one of the challenges, is that we had always done this all by ourselves, and it was just more recently that we can say that if you were to make a check out to Kurt, you just make it out to Deseret International and ship it over to Kurt. He can give us the checks, and we'll make sure that you get a return, C501 form or whatever, a tax thing. But the sister company here is Deseret International, and just to keep it all legal, because we are a Zimbabwean-based NGO. But yes, we can, but we want to make sure it's legal for America too. And Deseret International, they do all kinds of humanitarian missions and trips and everything. And we can make our checks out to them, send them to Kurt, and you can get them to us.
Okay. So, yeah, Deseret International, make those checks out there and then send them to me. Rhonda will post up a link or something like that so we can have that
I will.
on there. And then anything else that you want to donate? I mean, because, you know, before we had some people donate some stuff like
Really?
They donated little hats that Jewel Snow sent some little hats for the premature babies.
Yeah.
Okay,
that are here.
newborn. Okay, let Rachel talk about newborn. Do we have time?
Okay.
Newborn kids.
Hey, you tell me when you're done, because I'm
yeah,
loving this show.
When I
Oh wait,
go
we got to
out-
answer this
oh,
call.
All right.
Rachel, you can answer that
you're
call
up.
right there. Rachel's going to answer this one.
Hello?
Cheryl Deuce is asking, actually, what Kurt just asked. Can you donate anything, not just surgery things like toys, balls, bikes, shoes, clothing, and do you have a list of things that you need?
Okay.
Okay, great.
Answer the call.
You want me on the phone?
Oh yes, on the
Yeah,
yes.
thank you, man.
They've been here
you're
5 minutes and they know how to do it better than I do.
You know, yes, absolutely. There's nothing that we will turn away. I mean, like I said, a pencil makes a difference, and something as simple as a bar of soap. You have no idea. To a woman who's out in the bush and hasn't seen soap in 6 months, for her to wash her clothes and her children, it is tremendous. So, absolutely. The only thing I would ask, and this may seem arrogant, but it's in an effort to preserve the dignity of my people, is that if it's broken or rubbish, please be respectful of that. But as far as secondhand goes, absolutely. There's no crowd. They would be so grateful. Secondhand shoes are a massive importance. You know, these people walk barefoot for miles and miles and miles, and it's hot. It's really hot, and the dirt is hot, and their feet burn. So to be able to give them a pair of your old shoes makes a huge difference. So yes, we would love anything. Everything can be put to use in Africa. We're big fans of recycling. So yeah, thank you.
In fact, what I can say, one of the young kids in Idaho, he did an Eagle Scout project, and he had no clue how many pair of shoes he would get. But what he did is he kind of went the extra mile, because he gathered these shoes, and he ended up with over 600 pair. But then he washed, he cleaned them, and he put new laces where laces needed to be, and he really took time to make sure that the shoes were kind of tied together and then packed super tight, because the space in the containers is so valuable to us. And I mean, it was amazing to me that he went to all of that trouble to collect them, but also to really recycle them himself as an Eagle Scout, and putting in 100%. That is not necessary, but it was a blessing to have him do that.
And for those who are wondering where they can actually deliver all these goods, Reeve will put up an address closer to the time in October, and you'll be able to send it to the warehouse.
Absolutely. And
or if you want to send it here, that's
So,
fine. I'll get it to them. Where to go?
Maybe what we could do, Kirk, is organize maybe a shoe drive between our two stores and Jerk's Corner and Pond Boys.
Yeah. Is that the thing they need the most, shoes?
I can't say that there's one thing we need the most,
Right.
but I will say shoes are a massive issue for us. I mean, for kids to go to school, they need either brown or black simple lace-up shoes, and it's a big deal. And like I said, out in the bush where we're going to go with you, you'll see hardly anyone has any. So shoes are a big deal. But the thing she was talking about, newborn kits, it's a massive deal.
Can you explain what that is?
A lot of our mothers, they live so far from any kind of medical assistance that to go and give birth at a facility, especially when there's inadequate medicine and inadequate supplies, it's just not worth going that far, because they would have to walk there weeks in advance of their delivery date and stay on site at the rural clinic, which means they leave their family and they have to try and carry enough food with them to eat while they're there waiting to deliver their baby, which is something we also try and help with, is to feed them while they're there at these facilities. So to encourage them to come to a facility is a big deal. But when they know, when they get there, that we're going to give them a little bag that's got a blanket and some cloth diapers and maybe an outfit and a hat and some socks and a bar of soap for their baby, they'll walk all that way. And on my last trip coming in from the bush, I stopped at a clinic. It was maybe 11 o'clock at night. I have no time constraints because I'm so far out. I stop when I can. And there were 27 young mothers who'd walked, I don't know what it is in miles.
Far.
It's very far. With no shoes, nothing to deliver their babies with. And they're wearing a very simple cloth tied around them called a zambia. It's really just a piece of fabric. They didn't even have real clothing. And they'd walked all that way, and we were able to give them all a newborn kit. So these babies were coming to nothing. And it makes a huge difference. It may seem so silly to somebody here, but really putting it in perspective, these babies are being born with nothing. So a newborn kit makes a huge difference, because if the mothers are in an institution, we can save their lives. Birth complications, etc., are reduced because there's a nurse on hand who can help. And the only way we can entice them to walk all that way is by giving them something when they come.
Yeah.
So newborn kits are a huge thing for me. They make such a difference, and they save lives, which may be hard for you to believe, but it's the truth.
Wow. Can you imagine just having to walk? You're already, 9 months pregnant, and you have to walk however far you have to walk to have your baby. Yeah. Can you imagine trying to get your wife to walk to the hospital, Ryan, and tell her, I'm sorry, I can't drive you, you got to walk?
We don't realize how blessed we are,
No, we don't. We certainly don't.
And the other thing that helps so much is each year we hold youth camps. And Rachel, for the last 4 years, has done these massive camps, and it's great. We have almost 1,000 kids plus that'll come to one of them, these state camps. And I can just say, just for these kids, it's a privilege. You can't teach them how to build a fire or sleep on the floor or survive in the bush. I mean, they do that each and every day. So for them, they come there, and the fact that you're feeding them 3 meals a day, and we're clothing them and teaching them great principles. There's different workshops, like 10 or 12 workshops. They even get to have a talent show while they're there, and loads of them have got some great talents. And on the final evening, they have a dance. But as Rachel suggested, is even when she does these youth camps between the age of 12 to 18, they've always been so orderly. There's never been one moment in all that time that anyone has ever acted out of order or behaved badly.
I've never had to send anyone home. But we can't ask them to bring a plate or a blanket or anything to participate in, because in their home, as siblings, maybe 4 or 5 of them share one blanket. So when they come, we have to supply everything. And sometimes it's overwhelming. So things like blankets, huge help.
I think that's for you, Kirk.
Okay. Thank you for calling Jerk's Corner. This is Kirk.
Chris Davies wants you to give his contact details, or should I say his contact details, and he wants to get something going from the UK, aka London, so he can promote their cause on that side of the pond. You are his official charity.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
A minute.
Yeah.
So thank you, Chris. We appreciate that. We'll have that set up for you so you can do that. What a good guy. Yep, Chris is great. Thank you.
Now, a really simple product, and I mean we're all familiar with it, is reading glasses. I hit 42, 43. I'm 47 now, but I have to say all of a sudden I wear my glasses. But those reading glasses make such a difference to those older people that are out there, because all of a sudden there's just nowhere that you could buy anything like that. So all of a sudden when we stop at a village and we give all of these people, these older people, we test them and we give them reading glasses, it is just joyful, because as I suggested earlier, it's giving those older people the opportunity to teach those orphans in the village how to read and how to write and moments like that. So,
and it's just various strengths from +1 all the way to +4.
yeah. So, and that's, you can go to your dollar store and pick them up for $1 a piece. So really nice and cheap, but tremendous difference. You've just changed someone's life entirely just by a simple $1 pair of reading glasses.
Well, I hope I haven't missed this along the way, but what's the average age of somebody that is needing reading glasses?
I think when you hit about 40 is about when you need it.
Yeah,
But-
that's what happened to me. I needed reading glasses.
Okay,
At 40.
yeah.
It's like my 40th birthday. I needed to go buy glasses.
That's right. I've experienced that.
It's because your arms get too short, you see.
I know, my arms aren't long enough. I never understood that when my grandfather said that. I'm like, what is he talking about? Now I totally get it.
Other simple things are like school kits. These children, oftentimes when you give them a pen, they've never held a pen before. And school classrooms might be their finger is the pen and the dirt floor is the paper. So all of a sudden when you give them a school bag, and in that school bag you got some paper books, probably about 4 or 5 paper books, you got colored crayons, you got pens, pencils, ruler. I mean, you give this to these kids and it's overwhelming for them, but it's just joyful because you're giving them an opportunity. I mean, we think about how much paper we throw out, but for these kids, they've never owned a book, they've never held a pen, they've never been able to write. So,
and one of the great things that I'd like to add about this is that everybody who's involved in this is not paid. This is not, there's nobody employed by the charity, or there's no money that goes to anyone. Everybody volunteers, right down to the casuals who come and help us unpack the containers. They're either paid for by a company specifically for that job. They'll donate that service. But none of the money or anything goes towards anybody, and that makes us unique as well, because in a lot of charities you're getting maybe 10% and sometimes less of the money that's donated going to the actual cause, and we are unique in that respect. 100% goes where it's going. We all have regular jobs where we earn our own money. It's totally separate.
yeah, and in fact, with big donations like say 10,000. I might suggest to that person, wait a minute, I'm going to order some medical supplies, and then you can send your donation straight to pay for those medical supplies. So they know 10,000 went to pay for medical supplies. And that's kind of fun as well. I think your phone's ringing.
That's okay.
Another thing also...
It's not anything to do with Zimbabwe.
Okay.
That's all we're talking about.
Being small, we can also guarantee that everything that gets sent, we put directly into the hands of the final recipient, which makes us unique as well.
Can you explain how you do that?
The government, they really are supportive of us. They never expect us to hand over to them or to their organizations. We're not obligated in any way. So what will happen is places will call us and we'll go and check it out ourselves. And when we do go in there, whether it's a hospital or a school or an orphanage, we're able to go in and do the full distribution to each of the children or each of the people ourselves. And so when those people leave, we didn't leave a bunch of stuff at a place. we send everyone home with something. And that also makes us unique. And yeah, it sounds like a lot of work.
It is.
And yes, it is. I'm not going to lie. So when you say you want to volunteer, and I say it's not for wimps, I mean it. It's hard work. But I can promise you'll be exhausted, but you'll be so fulfilled because you get to see the end result immediately. And I think that makes us different from most.
And I heard that has been something that many people have responded to as well, to say, well, we actually see where it's going because they've been on the website, they've seen the pictures, and we have shared with them the stories of when we've actually gone out and said, oh, because there was a lady in my ward in Relief Society back in Norway. She sat and she knitted a little beanie and a little jacket, and she came and gave me a whole bag full. And I actually took it to Zimbabwe and I put it on this little baby, took a picture and sent it to her. She was overwhelmed. But I mean, when I first joined the charity in 2001, when I was invited to join, I loved that. First of all, that there's no overheads, there's no salaries to be paid, there's no extra, there's nothing. It's just we get donated things, we give it out. I mean, because if we get paid to do it, then it's not charity, is it?
Not so much, is it?
And I have to tell you, the bike idea is just making me smile. Because Rachel's going to put those bikes in someone's hand that has never even dreamt that they might be able to have a bike, but that is going to use it and will probably cycle 30 miles a day
the look
in the
on
bush.
their faces when they're going to receive this bike.
Well, you got me hooked now. I tell you what, I'm on a mission now because when people come in here, sometimes they just leave their bicycle because it costs too much to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will fix it, and I will put it in a special place in the back. And we'll just see how many we can get, right, Ryan? We'll see how many we can get by October.
Thank you so much.
Maybe we can come up with a bunch. I don't know. We'll see what we can do.
So we had one other project as we were suggesting. You know, in December when we went back, we finished on the golf tour. We played in Dubai. We went home, and as we arrived home, I said to Lolly and Cece, we really want to help these kids who want to become missionaries and have no ability to do so. And so I put out an email to like their leaders and people like that and former missionaries who might know of youth in Zimbabwe. And at the first meeting, I had 92 youth pitch up. And now we're up to 220. Just in a couple months, we had 220 kids who really wanted to go. But the funnest part is just their enthusiasm for life. And when they wrote their stories, we invited them to write who they were, where they came from, and what their dreams are. And you're so humbled. So many are orphans. And when you meet them, you just think, you don't behave like a feel sorry for me kind of a person. You're out there, you're working hard. The one kid to tend to steward, I mean, he pushes a street cart. You know, meaning if I bought something here and I want to deliver 20 miles away, he's going to put it in his cart and he's going to push it all the way back. And he suggested to us, he said, I could earn $10 a week, so I'm sure I could buy more stuff for myself.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just humbling just to realize that their goodness is just thorough. It's the real deal out there. And we feel privileged to help. I have to say, Mozambique, we helped them with their youth camps this last year. And for those young men, they had never had a camp, and they expected maybe 100, 120. And Rachel was so inspired, she packed for 180 plus, and they had 180 young men that came. And for them, they just, overwhelmed and just joyed. Just such simple stuff, you know, school supplies, a blanket. For some of these kids, they've never worn underwear.
And sometimes candy.
Oh, candy is
They've never
fun.
tasted
They've never tasted candy before.
No.
In October is when we do this, right?
This is it.
Yeah.
This
So
is it.
what?
It's Halloween season.
Yeah, let's just collect all our kids' candy and send it over to them. What a great idea! Instead of going trick or treating for ourselves, we go trick or treating for Zimbabwe.
All right.
What do you
Oh,
think?
what a good idea.
What I'm talking about. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're all going trick or treating for Zimbabwe this year.
You know what?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Another point. For those who might be wondering about, you know, the idea of just, you know, handing stuff out and how are we really helping in the long term? The truth is that Zimbabweans don't really want stuff. As a people, they're very industrious and very hardworking. We have one of the highest rates of unemployment in the world, and yet through their own initiatives, they have come up with some really interesting little home-started businesses. And when you try to give them something, one of their next questions after saying thank you will be, do you have a job for me? Is there any work I can do? They want to work. They don't want to be dependent. And so going forward, one of our main focuses is helping to develop income-generating projects, sustainable projects, self-sustaining projects in these rural areas. And so that's something that we're focusing moving forward, which I know many people would be wondering about, you know, what's the long-term solution? So-
Would it be something that if I were to go over there, we could teach somebody how to work on a bicycle and take some
Absolutely.
tools? And
Absolutely.
is that
Absolutely.
something we could do?
Now, what
And
I
that's
can
exactly what we need is people with skills who want to come and spend time, and we find the people ahead of time
we
and
bring
we
some
gather them,
equipment,
and you
leave
bring
with
the
them.
tools that they need and you teach them, and I mean, what a treat. That's what they want. I mean, these people, they don't want to be dependent.
Mhm.
The Zimbabweans are not like, really.
That's good. That's really good to know. Okay, this is who hasn't answered it?
Lolly. She's been way too quiet.
Here, Lolly, this is hello. Yes, she's right here. Lolly, that's all for you.
It's Gary Player.
Oops. Hello.
Okay, this is a two-part. The first one is from me. I would love to know what kind of housing they have available with the terrain being the way it is. That's part one.
Okay, so the housing that they have available is that they create these mud huts for themselves, and so they will take mud and they'll take twigs and then they'll stand them up, and so they create a floor first and then they pack this mud around all the twigs and they'll make like a round hut, and then they'll put straw on top of it, and then the whole family will just live in there. And so that's they're pretty creative, and they try and work a lot with the resources that they have.
Fantastic. Okay, part two is from the fabulous Chris Davies. He says, Candy, I live 10 kilometers from the Cadbury factory here in not London. So maybe that's a good thing.
That'd be so sweet.
You live by a chocolate factory and you didn't tell me? What?
I'm going to be honest and say maybe not everything you send will make it all the way to the bush.
You know that part where they said they didn't get paid? Well, sometimes the chocolate doesn't make it there. Just
They get
saying.
paid in chocolate.
I just have to tell you, that is just one of the funnest treats, is to see someone taste candy for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I can't tell you that it's a solution to hunger, but it's surely an uplift from whence they've come. It is just fun just to see their gratitude. Like when we're unpacking boxes of books, and the kids will say, or the parents will say, please can I keep this box? Now, I know everyone over here, we try to break down boxes and send them back for recycling, which is great, but just even the box means something to someone. And I can't tell you that it's poverty, because it doesn't seem like poverty. Oftentimes when foreigners come over, they'll ask, like, do they just not know that they're poor? And I say, of course they know that they're poor. And then they ask, but how can they be so happy in their poverty? But I can say, even when they're building these mud huts, I mean, the floor is made out of like cow manure mixed up with mud because it goes really hard. And then, I mean, it's the cleanest area you can imagine. And if you were to stop at a village and you would just stop, the first thing that they would want you to do is to come in, and they will bring a bowl of water, and they probably carried it for 5 miles from somewhere, and then for you to wash your hands, and then they'd like to feed you something that they grew, whether it's tomatoes or cucumbers or something. They always want to feed you and share with you what they have, the little that they have. So they are very, very, very kind and hospitable.
And in our cities, just to qualify, to equate, in our cities we don't have mud huts. There's a whole different range of housing. We have high density areas, which is similar to any other big city in the world. Little small houses closely packed together, made of bricks and cement. Sorry, I just want to make sure that we're not just portraying one picture. There's a whole there's a lot of diversity, but where we primarily focus our efforts is out in the rural areas where the huts are found.
Oh boy. We're getting close to the time here, and one thing I neglected to tell you, and sometimes this is what I do. I just neglect to tell people this. When we have you on the show, everybody has to sing.
Oh, we're good with that.
And so,
we're good with that.
I know these ladies have great voices.
Whatever.
So what I want you to do is just if you want to come up with a song that you all can sing.
We're good.
We can sing you an African
Yeah, we'll
song.
do actions.
I knew it was going to be an African song. I was so excited.
Are you ready? Count of 3.
You know what? Let me do one thing before we do that. I just wanted to prepare you, but you're already prepared.
Oh, we're good to go.
These ladies are prepared. She lives in the bush.
With the pearls. Yeah.
With her pearls and dress.
Well, you just committed us all these bags. I'll sing anything you want.
Okay. All right.
That's because she can sing.
Ryan, do you have anything to add to this wonderful opportunity?
Well, I do. I just want to appreciate. I appreciate you guys coming in. I mean, in my opinion, it's not a big secret why these ladies have smiles on their faces. When you do stuff for other people like they do, you're a happy person. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've got to say. And I appreciate what you do, what you're doing. So whatever I can do to help out, I'll do. So I'm committed. So
Thank you. Thank
We're on that. We're on. Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
Rhonda, anything from you?
Oh my gosh, I am girl crushing on these ladies right now. I am in awe of each one of you. It takes a lot of compassion to do what you do and to put in the work and to travel. So I'm going to give my clap to you today. You're my new girl crushes.
Thank you.
And Rhonda, I
You're
think
welcome.
the flight's not that long because all you got to be thinking, on the other side it's great, on the other side it's great, and you'll get through the flight. So we invite you to.
Yeah.
stick Ron in one of those boxes, and she can just ride in one of those boxes.
Yes, if I could be in the box, that would be great. I'd do it.
We'll put her in the box with the Cadbury chocolate.
I don't eat chocolate. So
That's why we'll put you in the box with the Cadbury chocolate.
it'll be safe. It'll be safe.
Okay, I gotta make a shout out to our sponsor, Cali Protectives. Have got their hat on today. Thank you, Cali, for all that you do, and thanks for supporting us and making sure that this show can always continue and have wonderful people like this. Thank you, Eyes for Zimbabwe. My hat. I don't do this. My hat is off to you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
And they're gonna take us out with a song, and then we're gonna go away.
Okay.
So thanks for coming on the show. Thank you, everybody that's chimed in. And if you get a chance and you want to send something, just send it to me or send it straight to Eyes for Zimbabwe, and we'll make sure that those kids get whatever they need, or those people get whatever they need over there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so the English name for the song is In the Leafy Treetops, but we're going to sing it in Shona, which is 68% of our country speaks Shona.
Sean.
So Shona is the language, and in order to say good morning, it would be Mangwanani.
Okay.
So nothing short about that. But Atenda is thank you, so here we go.
Mumashisha mumeti shiri dzinoimba mangwanani makadini dzinotaura wakadini nasi mumashisha mumeti shiri dzinoimba mangwanani hey hey.
Oh, that was great. Thank you. That was so good. Okay, all right. I thought maybe I'd just see what I could get away with. That was wonderful. Thanks for coming to Jerk's Corner. You guys all have a great day. Hey, see if you can somehow support us. Support Zimbabwe. Support whatever you want. But whatever you're doing,